Hi viewers, in today's video we will look at CISSP Domain 3 some concepts. This is the second video for Domain 3 series. In this video we will look at virtualization. So what is virtualization? In virtualization you host multiple operating system or clients on the same physical server. That physical server we call it host, and the operating system which are hosted on that host we call it client. Virtualization is a software running under the OS and above the hardware. Now let's say we have web application, and web application require database server to fetch to store some data. And if both web application server and database server hosted on same host, then traffic do not need to go on the network. Virtualization hold a lot of benefits. Virtualization environment costs a lot less than physical servers, so we don't need to wait for the procurement team to buy servers and wait for the waiting time. So you can use the existing server and power up your client in couple of minutes. You can easily backup servers with snapshot. Server bits can be done with images. So management of servers and backups is much easy. You can instantly reallocate resources. Now, depending upon the host specification, you may host up to 50 to 100 servers on the space on the 5 to 8 physical servers. So depending upon your hardware specification and your client requirements, you can host up to, let's say, 50 to 100 servers on the same physical servers. Now let us look at different type of hypervisors. On the right hand side is a physical server, physical configuration. In physical, it's a standard configuration that we have hardware. On that hardware, we install OS, and then OS we install physical applications. They are in virtualization. There are two type of hypervisor. Hypervisor controls the access between the virtual guest client and the host. Now, in virtualization, we have type 1 and type 2 hypervisor. In type 1 hypervisor, we have hardware, we have hypervisor, and we have virtual machines. On those virtual machines, we have operating system and application. Example of type 1 is EXI server. Let's say on my Dell server, I install VMware EXI 6.5. On here, hardware will be my Dell, hypervisor will be my VMware EXI 6.5 is my hypervisor, and on those hypervisor I can install virtual machines and which contain OS and application. In type 2 hypervisor run on top of some OS. Like in type 2, let's say I have a Dell server. On my Dell server I have Windows 2019 server, and on top of that I have my VMware player, VMware workstation. And on VMware station I have created multiple virtual machines which has OS and applications. So here my Dell server is a hardware, Windows Server 2019 is the OS, hypervisor is VMware workstation, and virtual machines which are installed on top of that one. Type 1 hypervisor is also known as bare metal. With virtualization give us a lot of benefits, but it also give us a different set of challenges which are not in physical environment. Now we will look at some of those challenges. First challenge we face is VM escape or virtualization escape. VM escape is when an attacker can jump from the host or a client to another client. This can be even more of a concern if you have different trust level clients on the same host. They should ideally be on separated hosts. Now, let's say we have critical machines and we have non-critical machine. And we on critical machine we have high level of security, whereas in non-critical we don't put any security. Okay. Now, attacker can get access to non-critical machine easily, and using this one, he can try to get to the critical infrastructure. Second concern on virtualization environment is hypervisor security. If an attacker can get access to hypervisor, they may be able to get access to the client. So let's say somehow attacker get access to your hypervisor. Hypervisor can be your EXI 6.5 or VM box, Microsoft box. So if somehow attacker get access to those one, he can get access to the to the virtual machine hosting on top of that hypervisor. Resource of is exhaustion. Sometimes admins oversubscribe the CPU memory and they do not realize memory is needed. Now, what happened that when we configure our server, we don't think of the future usage. So let's say today my CPU usage is only 10%, but maybe at peak time it can go more than 60 or 70%. In virtualization, since multiple hosts, multiple clients are residing on the same host, so it is possible that all clients has some peak time, and maybe that is at the, let's say at midnight we are taking backup. So this may cause some failures because host resources may fully utilize or may overutilize. That's all for today's video. Thank you.